Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Randy Jeffers, and we are live from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, we have a really special guest. We have Dr. Upinder Singh, who is a medical doctor here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and with a specialty in geriatrics and Alzheimer's and those types of things. Tell us a little bit about your practice.
So right now my main thing is administration. So I'm the vice president for Kindred Healthcare, and Kindred Healthcare has specialty hospitals and nursing centers and acute rehabs and home health hospice, and along with that a Silver State ACO. We have 250 doctors in that, and
Wow.
I'm the chief medical officer for that.
Wow, that's a big operation. So let's just sort of jump right in here, and I want to, because it's such a fascinating subject, this whole area of aging and anti-aging, and I have a vested interest because I have an 8-year-old and I'm 64 years old, so I want to live to be at least 140 so I can see my grandkids. But
Nothing wrong with that.
but when you get out to a certain age, things start to happen sometimes, and I know Alzheimer's is a really big issue. Let's talk about what are some of the things that older people have to worry about?
In specific or in general?
In general.
In general, I think the most important thing is America is an age-denying culture.
Age denying.
So
Okay.
we want to stay independent as long as possible.
Right.
With age, there will be certain limitations that are placed on a person, which will restrict your independence, and nobody likes that.
Mhm.
Right from the age of 16 years of age, I want my own driver's license. I don't want to listen to
Right.
my parents. I want to be on my own. Nobody tells me what to do.
That's right.
So that fear that I'm going to lose control, I'm going to be dependent on somebody, that is the thing that most of the older adults worry about.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess it's at any age, huh? That's
At any age, and it starts to become much more pronounced as we get a little bit older.
as it starts to go. Yeah. And of course, one of the things that is really a worry to a lot of people are, what happens if I get something like Alzheimer's or one of the mind debilitating diseases? How big is Alzheimer's? How many people have that?
Alzheimer's is a real concern for everyone. There is no one who is immune that they will not get Alzheimer's. Does not matter what race, gender, bias you are. The biggest risk factor for getting Alzheimer's is age. So if you're going to live long enough, there are higher chances that you probably can get Alzheimer's. So right around 65 years of age, 5% of the population has Alzheimer's
5%.
at
Wow.
65 years of age.
Uh-huh.
But if you get to 85,
Mhm.
50% of the people have Alzheimer's.
My goodness. But if you get to 90, does it
It
corresponding
goes,
to the same?
keeps on getting more and more. So it will get to 60 and something like that. But like people say that, so should everybody get it? No. There are many people, a big percentage of people who don't get Alzheimer's, even at the age of 100.
Good. Well, there's hope for me then.
Definitely, we all keep hoping that.
What are the things that people should do so that they don't have those kind of issues, or is there a way to prevent it if you're? It's
So-
just going to happen to some people.
No, absolutely, you're right. We cannot do anything with the age. That is something which will come whether you want it or you don't want it. There will be another candle on your birthday cake every single year. So
Mhm.
we can't fix that. We can't fix our parents, our
Right.
biological parents.
Yeah.
So if you have a first degree relative with Alzheimer's, you have a 2 to 3 times higher chances of getting Alzheimer's.
Wow.
But other things we definitely can control. So we need to make sure that we control our risk factors like blood pressure, diabetes. We should not smoke. We should not drink too much. We should keep the brain active. So if we keep the brain active, it opens up new connections in the brain. So even if few of the connections die, there are many other connections which will carry us through. So we need to regularly exercise the brain to keep it active.
You know, it's interesting. I've noticed a lot of people that I've known throughout my life that get to retirement age. You know, they're active. They have a high-level job. Their brain is obviously working well. They retire, and then in just a couple of short years, they pass away. There must be something happening with when they aren't using their brain the way that they were.
Absolutely. You know, God has designed a wonderful human being, and there's a purpose to every organ and all
Yeah.
that. When we stop using those, all of a sudden things start to fail.
Yeah.
People who are in high executive positions and all that, there have been studies done which showed that if you had less than 8th grade education versus who have college
Mhm.
degrees, people who have college degrees, they have onset of Alzheimer's much later
Oh.
as compared to people who have no less than 8th grade education. So
Yeah.
these are the two groups they compare. So people who are in executive positions, there is a very good chance that they had higher education and all that. So they may see the onset of Alzheimer's later in age. But when they start to show symptoms, that means they have exhausted their reserves. Their drop is much faster. So
Yeah.
normal person, like the Alzheimer's curve is like if they're going down like this,
Uh-huh.
they will be like this and go down faster.
Wow. So eventually they catch up. At some
Eventually
point.
everyone catches up.
My goodness. Well, I guess so. Staying active and reading and maybe keep working, huh? Is
Absolutely.
probably a good thing.
So, but I advise my patients is start doing new things. So
Learning.
if you're brushing, as simple as, you know, like you brush your teeth with right
Uh-huh.
hand. Are you righty or a lefty?
I'm a right hand.
So from tomorrow onwards, if you're worried about it,
Uh-huh.
start using left hand to brush your teeth.
Okay.
So
I might
it-
miss something though. But-
That's okay.
Okay.
Then you can go back and do with the right hand too.
Okay.
So if you're taking this road to your home every single day,
Uh-huh.
once a week, try a different route. It may be a couple of miles longer, but
Mhm.
it keeps you, makes the brain think.
Yeah.
Every day you should write something. Every day you should read something.
Yeah.
Do Sudoku, do crossword puzzles. It keeps the brain active, and chances are we can put off Alzheimer's for a much later day.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I've done that all my life. You know, I try never to go 2 days the same way. You know,
Oh,
when I'm
perfect.
driving and always reading things and getting involved in things that are new, and so that's,
You're fine.
yeah. I think maybe I'll be all right for another year or two, huh?
You will be on this show for another 50 years. You will get to your 140-year goal.
Well, you know, you mentioned that God made our bodies in a special way, and let's touch on that because I notice you have a little bit of a headgear on that is a little different than mine. Tell us about the turban.
You got it right. Many people don't even know what to call this.
Yeah.
So you're already so special. You are one of the 3 to 5% of the Americans who know something about it. I am from the Sikh faith.
Hmm.
Sikh means a student.
A student. Okay.
Literal translation means a student. So
Now that's spelled S-I-K-H.
S-I-K-H.
S-I-K-H. Uh huh.
So it originated in India,
Uh-huh.
northwest part of India, and Guru Nanak was the first founder. So he founded it in around 1469. That time India was divided into many different social statuses.
Yeah.
So there were upper caste, lower caste, and things like that. And lower caste could not talk to upper caste. Upper caste was not supposed to mingle with the lower caste. So there was lot of discrimination based on where you were born, which family you were born in,
Mhm.
and what your occupation was, and all that. Guru Nanak said that we're all children of the same God. Actually, all religions say that, but he literally meant it, and I can give you examples. So he said that if we are all children of the same God, father or mother, whosoever that God is, they love their children equally. Parents don't discriminate between kids. So we should not be differentiating between each other. So here we have long hair. I never cut my hair. I have a long beard. I just put a bobby pin here. I roll
really?
it.
Oh.
I roll it. Put
Oh,
a
I
bobby
see that.
pin.
Yeah.
And I tie a bun on my head, and then I tie a turban.
So you have never cut your hair
Never cut my
in
hair.
your whole life.
So we believe that hair are gift of God. That's how I take it. Hair are gift from God.
Right.
And if I love someone, and if that person I love gives me a gift, I will cherish that gift.
Right.
So you have a wife, you have a girlfriend, anybody you like, and if they gift you something, you hold that dear to you. So same thing is for me, that I hold gift from the God and I cherish it. So, and but if you look at it, how I take it is that if you look at Jesus, the pictures we see and all that,
Sure.
he has long hair.
Right.
Moses had long hair. Prophet Muhammad had long hair. Lord Buddha had long hair. All Hindu gods have long hair. Brahma had long hair and everything. So the way I see it is, there's something spiritual about hair. And to keep hair in a neat and tidy place, we tie a turban.
Yeah.
So this turban is considered a spiritual crown for the Sikhs.
I see.
It is not a fashion statement or anything like that. 98-99% of the people in America whom you see wearing a turban are probably Sikhs.
Right.
So it's a spiritual crown for us.
Now I see different colors though. A lot of people,
That's where we get into the fashion.
Okay.
So I match it to my tie.
Oh, so you have a lot of different colors.
I have 25 different colors.
wow.
But everybody has a different preference or something. Color does not mean anything.
Okay.
Color has no meaning to it. Every single color was given by God. So
Now some are higher than others. Some stand up taller. It seems like.
meaning that's the
When
way
they
tie
wrap,
the turban.
when they wrap it in different ways.
So everybody has a different way of wrapping a turban.
Oh, okay.
So mine is about 5 meters yard,
Wow.
5 meters long, and that's what I tie every single day. Some people tie 10 meters. So obviously, depending on the length of the fabric, it will be a little bigger, taller, smaller, things like that.
So you always go out in public with a turban on.
Actually, what turban means is, when I say it's a spiritual crown, that means that we are acknowledging that there's a higher power above you.
Okay.
There's a higher power above you. So I'm going to go back to the similarities. That's what I believe in. That if you look at Pope, how we see Pope is always with his head covered. Right?
Always.
Jews go to the synagogue and they cover their head.
Yes.
Muslims go to the mosque and they cover their head.
Right.
Hindus wear turbans on the most important day of their life when they go get married and stuff. So we all cover our head. Sikhs believe that God is there every single day, every single place, every single moment. It is so I cover my head every single day, every single minute, and everything. It is not only when you go to a place of worship on Sunday. That is not the only place where God is. God is everywhere.
So you live out your faith
We live out of
always.
faith. So, and the other reason for wearing this turban is it's a reminder to other people that if you need any kind of help, you can go to the guy with the turban. he will do whatever in his power to help you.
Very interesting. Now, how many Sikhs are there in the world? Would you say?
There are about 25 to 27 million Sikhs in the world.
And how many in India?
I will say 20 some million in India.
So most of them are in India.
20
Okay.
million.
Mhm.
So if you look at just pure numbers, being 27 million, it makes the fifth biggest religion just by numbers. Not many people know it.
Yeah.
Hardly anybody knows about Sikhs.
Yeah.
But if you look at by numbers, it is the fifth biggest religion in the world.
That's interesting. Now, here in Las Vegas, how big is the community?
Vegas may not have that many Sikhs. There are a lot of Sikhs in California. There are a lot of Sikhs in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But Vegas has its fair share.
A few hundred, maybe.
Definitely close to 1,000.
1,000. huh?
Yeah. So sometimes I jokingly call it not the Sin City but a Sing City. So,
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Very interesting. So obviously you're a very hardworking doctor, and when you get home, you're probably tired and you want to rest up. And so, do you take the turban off and
I-
let the hair flow? And,
I take the turban off
Uh-huh.
and I tie a smaller one.
oh,
I cover my head. The
Mhm.
only time when I do it is take it off is when I'm taking a head bath.
okay. Now,
When you're in the shower and taking a head bath.
so men wear a turban. How about the ladies? What do they do?
Sikh faith does not discriminate at all based on your gender.
Oh,
You're male, you're a female, equal rights.
okay.
So when the religion was founded 500 years back,
Mhm.
women had equal powers. And we're talking about 15th century India, when
Right,
women had absolutely
No powers.
no rights.
Anywhere in the
They,
world. Yeah.
or for that matter, anywhere in the world.
Right.
They were supposed to cover their head, they were supposed to cover their face, they were not allowed to get out of the homes, they were not allowed to do any occupation. At that time, the founder of the faith, Guru Nanak, said women are absolutely equal to men in every single aspect of life. Covering your face is banned in the faith.
Oh, wow.
So women are not an object that we need to cover them.
Mhm.
So women are supposed to go and study. Women hold the equal rights to property. Women have equal rights to men in every single aspect. So by that same corollary, there is no separate dress code for women and men.
I see. Okay.
So men wear turban, women also cover their head.
Mhm.
Some wear turban, some just
A shawl or so.
shawl or something, or scarf or something.
Oh, very interesting. So when the Sikh faith was founded, you mentioned that there were a lot of levels of classes. Was it the upper class, or one of the upper classes that became the Sikhs, or did it have anything to do with class?
No.
Nothing
So
to do.
anybody who believed in this doctrine
Mm-hmm.
that God does not believe in tier system, God does not create any caste system, that is all human made. So anybody who believed in that doctrine and followed the principles laid out by Guru Nanak
Mm-hmm.
was a Sikh. So you could be from upper caste or lower caste, for that matter, they all became Sikhs.
I see.
It was such a revolutionary idea at that time.
Mm-hmm.
People saw the merit in that argument, that how can God create differences?
Yeah.
So there is no caste system in India. Let me give you an interesting example. From the last name,
Mm-hmm.
many times I can tell what is your religion.
Oh.
In Indian last names, I'm much better, but in putting it in American concept, so Rosenberg,
Right. You can tell.
you can tell
Uh-huh.
most likely from the Jewish faith.
Yes.
Smith, most likely from the Christian faith.
Yes.
Khan, most likely from the Muslim faith.
Mm-hmm.
Sharma, most likely from the Hindu faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I may have never met you, but people may discriminate against you depending on your last name. I don't want to talk to that person because
Right.
he's such and such.
Mhm.
So Sikhs have the same, or they carry the same last name, Singh.
Really?
Some people use it as a middle name or as the last name, but
So everyone born into the Sikh faith
are
Singh somehow.
supposed to have Singh as a last name.
for real? Oh wow.
So so there is a principle behind it.
Uh-huh.
First thing is, now you cannot tell what caste level
Yeah.
you were born in.
Right.
So you're Singh. I don't know whether you're upper caste, lower
Right.
caste.
Right.
Secondly,
We're all brothers, right?
we're
We have
all
the same
brothers.
name.
So that is where I was going.
Yeah.
So if we all say that we have one father,
Mhm.
children of the same father all have the same last name,
Now, what does sing mean? What's
right?
it
So
trans-
if they have the same, so
Uh-huh.
one father, all the children of that same father
right.
have the same last name, right?
Right.
So we say that. Singh means a lion.
A lion.
Yes, Singh means a lion. It was at that time, to instill a sense of bravery in people, because many of them were oppressed or things like that. So this was to instill a sense of pride, bravery, self-esteem in them.
Very interesting.
Women have the last name, or supposed to have the last name as Kaur, Kaur. Kaur means a prince,
Mm.
not a princess, prince. So the founders, Guru Nanak, they believed that they are equal to men.
Mhm.
So they're all princes.
Everybody's a prince.
Everybody's a
Everyone's
prince.
Oh, very interesting.
So
So when Guru Nanak and the founders started this particular faith, what faith did they come out of?
Guru Nanak was born in Hindu family.
Okay.
His parents were Hindu.
Uh-huh.
But Guru Nanak strongly believed that he never converted anybody, did not ask anybody or anything. It is written in our holy scriptures that if you are a Christian, be a good Christian,
Mhm.
you will meet God. You are a Hindu, be a good Hindu, you will meet God, or whatever your purpose is. You don't have to adopt my faith or my way to be one with the Lord.
Mhm.
So there are many different ways which lead you to the Lord, and
Mhm.
you can take your own path. My path is not the only way to be one with the Lord.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common amongst most of the religions, except for Christianity, of course, which there's one way. So they sort of differ from that. But
I'm not an expert on
Yeah.
other religions, so
well, yeah, it's really interesting. How does so the Hindu faith and the Sikh faith, how do they differ in terms of the way you worship and maybe do you have, is it a temple? What do you call the house of worship?
so Hindus call it a mandir, Sikhs call it a gurudwara.
A gurdwara.
Gurudwara.
Gurdwara. Okay.
So Hindus believe that, but how they worship, and again, I'm not an expert, so please don't take it wrong. Generally, they will have idols
Uh-huh.
placed in temples, and they personify that as God, image of God, and
Mhm.
that's how they pray to. Sikhs believe that God is not born, God never takes birth, God never dies, God doesn't have a shape, form, gender, or anything.
It's a spirit.
So- So it's a power, it's an energy, it's
Uh-huh.
that. When I don't know whether God is a male or a female, whether God is old, white, whether God has muscles, what, I don't know. So, so we believe that God is formless,
Mhm.
never takes birth, never dies. But lot of cultures and all those things, they are very close to each other. Hindus and Sikhs culturally very sick.
Very sick. Yeah. Now, how about prayer? How does prayer enter into the Sikh faith?
We believe there's a lot of power in prayer.
Okay.
So if you pray
Uh-huh.
From the heart,
Uh-huh.
and if you're praying for something right, God will listen. If you're praying with a malintent, with a malice towards somebody else, God is not going to listen to you.
Right.
So God loves everyone equally. Everyone equally. You're a Christian, you're a Hindu, you're a Sikh, God loves everyone equally.
Yeah.
God does not discriminate. We may think that my way is the better way. God does not think that way.
Very interesting. Now, as a medical doctor, especially in the field that you're in, geriatrics, you see more than your fair share of people passing away. And do you have some do you use prayer in your sometimes when you're dealing with a patient?
Definitely, whatever gives hope
Mm-hmm.
to a person, whatever their belief system is, or even if they are an atheist, whatever gives them strength, whatever is an anchor to them,
Yeah.
we use that.
Very good. Well, that's excellent.
Prayer and faith can move mountains.
Yeah.
I have seen prayers being effective when all the medications have failed.
So you have some real life examples of prayer actually working.
In different ways, shapes, or form. Definitely.
Interesting. Do you have a success story that you could talk about? You can remember?
Not offhand like that, but it may not cure your cancer, but it can give you the power to deal with it and to control your pain and all that. So in our holy scriptures, there is a quote which says Sarab Rog Ka Akhad Naam. Sarab means all, Rog means pain, Akhad means treatment, Naam means the prayer. So what prayer does, it does not mean that you are never going to get cancer, you're not going to get high blood pressure or whatnot. What prayer does is it helps you handle that in the right way.
Yeah.
Sikhs believe that we need to be thankful to God every single time, every single moment. If we get cancer, does not mean that we start yelling at God and saying that, why did you do this to me? I've been such a nice guy all along my life, and
Right.
why did you do this to me? That has got nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So person will get what they will get. They will go through the normal course of life, and things will come and happen, but it gives you the strength and the power to deal with it.
That's just so fascinating. I think there's a lot of people that never even heard about the faith, and they see someone with a turban, and I think we're all curious, right? We want to know.
I actually, you're absolutely right. What happens is, because there is no proselytizing in Sikh faith, because we believe that all faiths are beautiful, all faiths are good.
Okay, so you're never trying to talk someone into.
We are
okay.
never telling anybody. We're telling you that you're a good Christian, please be a good Christian,
Okay.
and you will get to your destination, you will get to your goal. So we never told anybody, we never had any missionaries, we never had anything trying to tell people or anything, and maybe that was a fault or whatever you want to say, because when 9/11 happened, things changed. People mistook you for the cronies of Osama bin Laden or whatever.
Yeah.
And nothing can be further from the truth, because Sikhs, that, like I was saying before, the turban means that anybody can come to you for help.
Right.
Doesn't matter what your faith is. If you go to a Sikh place of worship, there's a flag post outside every single Sikh place of worship. Orangish colored, tall post and all that. But that symbolizes and signifies that anybody who comes here, each and every person is welcome to this place, irrespective of your faith, belief system. No faith, no belief system, doesn't matter. And if you want food, you will be given food. If you want a place to stay, you will get a place to stay.
Wow.
Nobody asks any questions or anything. The most sacred Sikh religious place, it is Darbar Sahib or Golden Temple, commonly people know as in India. It prepares 50,000 meals every single day.
Wow.
And feeds anybody who comes there. 50,000 meals every single day, and people come from all different walks of life, different faiths of life, and have food there.
Wow.
So
What city is that in?
Amritsar, Punjab.
Punjab, okay.
Punjab is a state, India is a country.
Uh-huh.
Amritsar is the place,
Okay.
city. There are more visitors actually to Darbar Sahib Golden Temple than to Taj Mahal.
Mm. Wow.
People know more Taj Mahal but there are more visitors actually to this place.
Wow. Now, is there a leader, one particular person that's a leader?
Sikh
Like-
faith
like
does
a
not
pope?
believe in any hierarchy or anything.
Okay.
I'm not a priest. I never went to theology school. I'm just a regular person.
Uh-huh.
But there are people who know the scripture much better than a common person.
Uh-huh.
So they have the responsibility of doing the prayers and they hold the mass and all that. But anybody can do the service, or anybody can lead the prayer. Women lead the prayer. So if you want to call it like that, there's no pope or the highest head like that. But if there was one, women can be that.
Oh.
So women have totally equal powers. Women lead the prayers all the time. Women do the mass and the service and every single thing.
So at the local level, so when you go to your house of worship here in Las Vegas,
Yes.
There's no pastor, or what the Christians would call a pastor, or
There are priests.
the priests. Okay.
There are priests because, like I said, that as compared to a common person, there are people who know the scripture much better.
So they're full time studying. and-
They're full time that, and they have much better voice, so they can sing the religious hymns and all that.
Okay. Oh.
They know the music instrument. You ask me to sing, I will love to do that, but I don't have that gift.
It's really fascinating. Very fascinating. What don't we know about that faith that you wish everybody knew?
Not anything in particular, because we believe that every faith is good if practiced according to its teachings and all that. But Sikhs are the most loving and most non-judgmental people you will find. So there's a reason why I wear a turban. There's a reason why I don't cut my hair. And sometimes people mistake it for a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a 10-year-old son, so he doesn't cut his hair. He wears a bun. He cannot tie the turban, so he ties it a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will bully or something.
Yeah.
So that is only one of my things. Just because you look different does not mean that you need to invite. He goes to a
Yeah.
very good school. He has no problems.
Goes to public school.
No, he goes to
Private.
Las Vegas Day School.
Okay.
And that is beautiful school. We never had any issues or concerns. It's a beautiful school. They encourage every single thing. But I'm saying like majority of the times, if something happens, that is because of the ignorance of the people.
Right.
Once you get to know a Sikh, you will become their fan.
Yeah. Well, I certainly am. All the Sikhs that I know, I am
They're fun.
big fans.
They are fun living.
Yeah.
Sikhs are not supposed to drink, smoke,
Mhm.
things like that.
Right.
Their family. Sikhs believe that you should be in the family system.
Mhm.
So we believe that.
Now, how about as medical things come along? For instance, they say now that 1 glass of red wine a day is good for you. Does that change anything? Or
So depends on whom you ask.
okay.
We used to think that there is a lot of research in all those things.
Yeah.
People think that if you drink and all that, that is a good thing. But now more and more research is showing that even 1 glass of wine
Oh.
may not be good,
Okay.
because alcohol can lead to breast cancer also.
Really?
People did not know these things before. As
And
science,
men as well?
men as well.
Okay.
So, so at younger age you may be able to drink 3-4 glasses, and
Mhm.
person says 3-4 drinks don't bother me.
Right.
When you get to an older age, even 1 drink may cause you to fall and have car accidents and things like that. There is something called alcoholic dementia.
Yeah.
So people who have been drinking, they get dementia. Another form of dementia, not Alzheimer's, but similar features.
Right. Well, it's better to be safe than sorry, right?
Better to be safe than sorry. But if
Absolutely.
it's something you enjoy, you enjoy. What I do is, I don't drink alcohol, wine, anything. I
Mhm.
eat grapes.
Oh, there you go.
So-
Go right to the root source.
Go right to the root source.
How about caffeine?
There is no restriction on caffeine or anything.
Okay.
Sikhs believe that everything came from God.
Mhm.
So the only thing which is restricted in the faith is if it is going to have a negative effect on your brain. So like alcohol will make you numb or make you act different, and you can lose control of your senses.
Mhm.
So that is why alcohol is not good. Similarly, drugs.
Mhm.
So if you're taking drugs, smoking and stuff like that, so smoking, drinking was banned 500 years back.
Uh-huh.
Like that.
Okay. Well, I haven't been to India, and I've been close. I've been in Southeast Asia and a little bit close, but and I can't wait to go. One of my really good friends who is a Sikh, who I look forward to going maybe next year, hopefully, to
Okay.
India, and I can't wait to go see what it's all about and what it's like. But now, as I grew up, I always heard about cows roaming the streets in India. Tell me about that.
Again, same thing, ignorance. When we don't know certain things, we make our own imaginations and we have our own ideas about that. India is a beautiful country.
Not bad.
God has blessed it with lot of beauty and every single thing. Every few miles, 50 miles, you go, the landscape changes and every
Mhm.
single thing. You go in rural areas, there will be cows and stuff like that. So when I go in a car and my son is with us, and
Mhm.
if we are going through a long trip and we see a rural area,
Mhm.
and there are cows in America on a rural area, I show him.
Mhm.
So it's a little more common in India, little less common in India, and less common here. But cows have a right to stay and live and whatever. So, but cows are not roaming around the streets or anything.
Okay. Now, do the Indian people eat the cow meat, or
So Hindus and Sikhs generally don't eat beef.
No red meat.
Generally don't eat beef.
Beef, okay. So the pig, the other animals are okay, lamb and pig.
Depending on a personal choice.
Okay.
So there are many people who are majority vegetarian. They don't eat any meat,
Mm-hmm.
but some people do eat all different meats.
Are there sins in this faith? Things that are really prohibited that you would call a sin, let's say.
So the few sins are that if you look at other person's property and other person's wife or kids
Mhm.
in a negative way,
Mm.
so that is totally prohibited.
Okay.
The other prohibition is to do drugs and drink alcohol.
To harm your body. Very fascinating. That's really
Because you want to be in control of your senses.
sure.
Because if we stay in control of our senses, there is much more likely chance that I will not hurt anybody, that
Mhm.
I will not be mean to anybody.
Yeah.
When we lose control of our senses, that is when I am mean or bad or whatnot to others.
How about now? As I understand, India is a relatively peaceful country.
It is a very peaceful country.
There are probably some areas on certain borders because it's a very large country, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's skirmishes and things that happen. But have the Sikhs ever been involved in any kind of war?
Sikhs have never fought a war
Never.
for property or anything.
Okay.
Sikhs are very brave. They have a martial aspect in them.
Hmm.
Sikhs are less than 2% of the Indian population.
Less than 2%.
Less than 2% of
Wow.
the Indian population, but they constitute around 10% of the Indian army.
Wow.
They are very brave. They are not. That is how they are born
Hmm.
to fight for the oppressed and the weak.
Hmm.
They are not afraid of anything. They are very, very patriotic, and lot of them go into Indian armed forces, army. They form a big part of that. So much so, in Canada there are a lot of Sikhs.
Yeah.
The defense minister of Canada is a Sikh.
Really? Wow. Well, I'm assuming they're scattered all over the world, but
They're like
but
potatoes. They're
small
every,
numbers.
They're like potatoes. They're in every country of the world.
Pretty
So-
much like everybody, right?
Just like everybody.
Everybody's all over the
The
world.
world is shrinking.
It sure is, and in your
And,
field especially, it's the vast amount of knowledge now in the medical field. It's amazing, isn't it? I want to just leave. We only have about a minute and a half left, but in just a real short period of time, what do you think in the medical field 4, 5, 6, 10 years from now it's going to be like? How are we going to change?
I could tell you about future. I don't have that crystal ball, but science is progressing at a very, very fast pace. There are
Yeah.
a lot of work being done. I'm pretty sure the treatments and cures and options for what we thought we will never be able to cure or fix,
Mhm.
10 years back we are able to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the things we think are deadly today, we will have very good solutions for them. 20 years back when I went into medical school, so AIDS and HIV were considered big taboo, and
Yeah.
we did not have any treatments and cures. Now people with AIDS and HIV live full life. So my passion is Alzheimer's, so I certainly hope that we have much better options for Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is going to be a very, very major problem for America. It is going to be the costliest disease in America.
Wow. That is is a big statement.
It is going to be the cost.
That's amazing. Well, Dr. Singh, it's just been such a pleasure having you here. I think we could talk for hours and never cover all the things we want to talk about. But maybe we can have you on again sometime and
Sure.
talk about some of these things more in specific detail. But thanks for coming. It's been
I
just
love
fabulous.
being here. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week, same time. Bye-bye, everybody.